Alright, this thing working? I think it is. Alright, so right now I'm going to talk to you about the Mage card. So we're at the second card in the deck. Its number is 1 because, as we learned from the last tarot card, which was 0. So the only way to go from nothing is to something. Alright, so this is the Mage card, or the Magician, or some other stuff. So, okay, so what is this card? And I actually have visual aids now, thank God. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit better at this. I have my mage hat on, got my Gandalf hat, and we are on our way to learn about the Magician, or the Mage card. So who is the Magician? Well, the Magician's the first person the Fool meets on his journey. So what he does is he basically... The Fool can do stuff, but doesn't know how to actually make occur what he wants to do, or what he wants to occur through his magics. He meets the Magician. The Magician seems to be a master of reality. Alright, and the way the Magician masters reality is through the 4 elements, represented by the Magician's implements, the Magician's tools, which are, of course, these things. Alright, so what are these? Well, you got the disc, you got the dagger, you got the cup, and you got the wand. And let's just ignore that little layman that they have for them right there. So, as you can see, these are the tools and the depictions of the Magician. Okay, let's see. Got new technology. It's really cool. I can do all sorts of stuff now. But I have to actually figure out how to do it. Alright, so I need to pull this all the way up. There we go. There we go. Bam. There we go. So this is the Magician. Alright, so the Magician, as depicted here, has basically all of the implements representing the sum total of his being, basically on the table, right? So these are present and accessible to him, right? So because every bit of the card symbolism is important. So as you can see, this is a classic Rider-Waite deck. So he has the wand, he has the dagger, the cup, the disc, representing materiality with the disc, so your physical being, your emotional being, and religion, and processes of belief and faith through the cup. This is also a life force symbol, so this has to do with your life force, because like you're composed mostly of water, so this is a very, very important thing. The dagger representing the mind. So the mind is always represented by a sword or a dagger, and this is because the mind is sharp, and it's only a tool of dissecting things. It's for splitting things apart. Alright, and then the wand representing will, which is action, which is fire. Alright, so the Magician, as seen doing the as above, so below, or so below as above, it just depends on what you're thinking of, and a lot of people be like, oh, that's fucking evil Illuminati stuff. It's like, well, once you understand what the tricks are that they're using, it's not like they can use you. Alright, so we all seen Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, once you're initiated, you know, the tricks don't work on you anymore, so you gotta get initiated. And so, who is the Magician? The Magician is the master of his reality. The Magician is the one who knows how to use the different aspects of their being to create the world or existence they want to live in. So when the Fool meets the Magician, he becomes initiated. He's not a master yet, but now he starts to learn. Now he starts thinking. All right. So the Magician's associations is Beth, the Hebrew letter Beth, and the planet Mercury, because the magician's the skilled craftsperson. The magician's the businessman. It means guile. It means business. It means trickery, but like a little bit more of an intellectual trickery. There's a bit of a thief association with it, and what's going on here? All right, so okay, that was stupid. All right, so the magician shows basically pointing up and down, right? Up and down. So the up and down part is all about how you go from basically creating something in your mind or heaven, and then you bring it down to the earth. This is a process of involution and manifestation. So this card has to do a lot with the magical practices and the associations and all the little mental tricks of the mind and the ability to flow like Mercury, or to not be stuck in one mental spot and be able to adjust to any sort of situation in the given circumstances using your different apparati. So like being able to perform physically, being able to reach out emotionally and to empathize emotionally, being able to think critically, and then actually being determined and driving forth. Now the magician uses this. He uses all of his abilities and all of his tricks of the trade, right? He knows how to do it. And there are several magical practices. It's really associated with a lot of the Hermetics. This is why its planet is, or its association is, the planet Mercury. It's not just Mercury, it's the god Mercury, it's the god Hermes, Thoth, any sort of knowledge god, any sort of thing like that it's associated with. So this is the actualized individual. So the fool is trying to self-actualize, and here he first meets the self-actualized person, and this is where he's like, I want to be that guy. All right, so I have to learn how to be that guy. I have to learn how to use all these different principles and powers and abilities, all right, because I want to be the magician. And that's the goal. That's the beginning and stated goal of the fool and his journey. And this is where the journey continues and moves on. So what he's learning here is how to use the mind, because he's already been using the mind to escape. But that's like raw elemental air, and this is more of refined planetary air. This is about like actual intellectual use of the intellect, of the capabilities of the mind. So it's association with magic, and therefore it would be associated with the throat chakra or the Vishuddhi, because a lot of magic has to do with creating action, thought, and word to all correspond with each other. And that's why the throat chakra has to do with the occult, because it has to do with our ability to speech and convey meaning. And so when we're able to convey meaning with action aligned with thought, this is the magic. This is the magic of it. Yeah. All right. So Beth. Oh yeah. Let's get to Beth. So Beth is the Hebrew letter associated with this, and this has to do with Beth means vessel. So the idea of the magician being associated with the vessel has to do with the magician is the vessel for the divine current, or the manifestation of divine in reality. So they have to draw upon heavenly energies, hold it into the vessel that is themselves, and utilize the different aspects of the vessel, which is their materiality, their emotionality, their intellectual capability, and their internal drive and force and being. So these are the things that the magician does. And this is what the fool learns. But it's an androgynous principle. It's not male or female, right? This is the whole hermaphrodite idea. And so magician doesn't have to be male, but let's face it, the tarot was created in medieval times, right? So I would say one thing is that lawyers, they use their words. They have the sword. Scientists and physicists and chemists, they have the disc. They have mastery over that. The religious, they have the cup. They're doing the cup stuff, right? And then the military, I'd say the military is the ones harboring the will, right? That's the dangerous one. That's the one that's hard to explain to people, because it's more about the secretive aspect of fire rather than physical aspect of fire, because they're all represented by their elemental components. So the magician knows these, and I keep repeating myself, but then he has to impart some of his knowledge onto the fool. And the fool's like, okay, now I want to become that. Now I'm going to have to learn the rest of the tricks of the trades, because he's like, oh, it's not just this. Like, this is what you have to get in line. You have to purify your elements. And then you go through and learn how to draw upon the different planetary energies, and then manifest those through the elemental energies. Because the whole theory of magic is that, like, the planets are corresponding with certain vibrations, right? But all of that happens in a physical sense here on this planet, because this is where everything's going on. So what has to happen is you have to actually integrate the planetary energies into the vessel of the elemental energies. Hence the vessel, Beth. Yeah, and so that's a brief summary of the magician card. This is Andrew Haskins, and this was one of my tarot talks, right off the top of my head, man. Again, I've been studying this stuff for quite a while, since I was like 14. That's when I first picked up a tarot deck and started doing it. Yeah, so I'm sure people have something to say in the comments. I guess give me a like if you like it, give me a share if you share it, subscribe if you want to. I'm not going to force you, but it would help me. I'm trying to do this a little bit more, actually get into it. And yeah, wait.